What's up guys, welcome to Echo Productions, I'm Silas Willoughby, and a lot of you guys keep asking me what gear I use, so today I want to explain some of that with this video about what I keep in my camera bag on a regular basis. First up, obviously, is the camera bag itself. And for the bag, I'm using the Lowepro ProTactic 250 AW. Now, this bag's big brother, the 450 AW, is actually a very popular bag for other creators, so there's a good chance you've heard of it. But I went with this one because it's a lot smaller and I don't like to carry around a big bag with me. And as you can see on the back, I have a Gorillapod mounted onto this handy little tripod mount that it comes with. You can just clip it and pull it back out. And it has all of these little straps on the back if you want to mount almost anything. If you have a carabiner, you can literally put anything on the back of this bag. And just as an added benefit, this bag does look really, really cool. There's also a small pouch on the side back here, which can't really hold anything. You could probably fit an iPad in there, but as I don't have an iPad, I don't really use that pouch. There are also two quick access ports on the side right here, but I don't use these because I have my dividers set up in such a way that I can't access them. I'll show you that in a minute. Also on the top you have a very quick access port to your camera. Now this is where I usually keep my camera itself anyway, so I do use this one quite a bit. Obviously I'm using my camera to record this video. As you can hear, this is a very sturdy bag, just listen. That is very sturdy sounding. I wouldn't be worried about dropping my camera with this bag. On the bottom you have a handy rainfly compartment that actually holds the rainfly for the entire bag. You also have these waist straps, which I like to tuck into the rainfly pouch to get out of my way since I don't really use them. But they are handy if you want it. Also in this top compartment you have a small SD card case. You can put quite a few in here. I currently have 2 in here. This is where I like to carry my extra SD cards. Finally, you have to flip the bag over to access the inside. And to do that, you just open the zipper. Now, we finally get to what I actually keep in my camera bag. For my camera, I use the Panasonic Lumix G7, which is a very great and capable 4K camera with acceptable low light for under $600. I'm currently recording with it right now, and as you can see, it produces a very sharp image. First, let's talk lenses. This is the Panasonic 25mm f1.7. This is by far my favorite lens. This is the one that is on my camera. This is the one that is on my camera 90% of the time. It's incredibly fast and produces a nice sharp image. The one downside is that there's no image stabilization, but I usually use my camera on a Steadicam anyway or on a tripod, so this isn't such a big deal to me. Next we have the Panasonic 14 to 42mm kit lens. This is obviously a kit lens, so it's not super sharp, but it does produce a very nice looking image for coming with the camera. Next up, we have the Rokinon 85mm t1.5 cine lens. This is a great but hefty lens. At 85mm on micro four thirds, this adds up to about 190mm equivalent of a full frame body. So it is quite a bit of zoom, but it also gives you this very nice telephoto look, which compresses the background and gives you some beautiful, smooth bokeh. Now, I like to keep several ND filters in my camera bag. And in terms of ND filters, I use these variable ND filters from KF Concept. This is a 46mm one. They're great because they allow you to just stick them on your lens and leave them whether you're going from light to dark areas. I really like this brand especially because it doesn't produce this weird vignetting that you see on a lot of other variable NDs. Anyway, I have another one of 72mm and another 46mm to go on my other lens. Now for the rest of my camera bag. This would be where my 14 to 42mm lens currently goes, but I'm currently recording with it, so I'm keeping its lens hood, which I'm not currently using, in there. I also keep lens hoods for all of my different lenses in my bag because I hate when I get lens flares when I don't want them. Don't get me wrong, I love lens flares, but I don't like unplanned lens flares. So this is the 14 to 42mm lens hood, this is my 25mm lens hood, and this is my 85mm lens hood. Now, next up in terms of cameras, I keep my Gopro Hero 6 Black in my camera bag almost all the time. Obviously, I'll put it on my drone when I'm using my drone. Most of the time I keep this in my camera bag to get B-roll or other shots where I don't want to put my actual camera. The Hero 6 is probably the best action cam I've ever used. You can shoot in 4K at up to 60 FPS and 240 frames per second in 1080. Now, it does shoot this almost unusable codec in 4K at 60 FPS and 1080 at 240, so I usually stick to 4K 24 FPS or 2K 120 frames per second. Next, I'm going to take a look at the audio setup I keep in my camera bag at almost all time. First up would be the microphone, and for a microphone I'm using the Rode Videomic just the plain old normal Rode Videomic, this is what I'm using 95% of the time for my audio. As you can see, I've added this dead cat to dampen wind noise, but it still produces great audio without it. Now I usually pair the Rode Videomic with my Zoom H1 audio recorder to create much cleaner sound than I would usually get from the internal preamps in my camera. The Zoom H1 is a great recorder for only $100. It has a decent microphone on top if you don't have a external microphone with you, but it also has quite a bit of manual controls. I usually have this set to about 4824 in a WAV file because WAV files are just so much better than MP3s, and it's really no harder to process. You can also adjust the input level here. I usually leave this at 80 since I'm not normally yelling, and it picks up much louder and clearer sound. This is just the playback buttons here, as well as a trash can button and a power button. Now, this records all your sound to a micro SD card, which I have about a 32 gigabyte card in here, and as you can see, I have 13 hours of recording time still. So you don't really have to worry about that. However, I do carry a spare SD card just in case. Now, these things are magic. This is a lens cleaning cloth. I always keep at least one of these in my bag, and it is simply brilliant. I use this all the time for wiping away any smears I might get on my lenses, my lens filters, or even my LCD. If you don't have one of these in your bag, you are doing something completely wrong. Next, I always keep a bunch of spare batteries for my microphones in my camera bag, just in case they go out on a shoot. This has happened to me countless times, so I would highly suggest bringing extra batteries. I also keep about 5 or 6 extra batteries for my main camera, just in case, as well as an extra battery for my Gopro. You can never have enough extra batteries in your bag. The next thing is something you wouldn't really expect to find in a camera bag, more in someone's wallet. And this is a penny. I keep probably 5 or 6 of these in my bag because I lose them so much. But they're great for taking my camera on and off places quickly, in case I don't have quick release plates with me. Now, generally a Leatherman or any kind of pocket knife would work much better for this, but you can't really travel with a Leatherman without getting, well, arrested, so I keep pennies in my bag. Now, I do also keep a set of business cards in my bag in case I'm out and a possible future client has any questions, and then I can just give them my card with all my information and they can contact me later. So if you are doing this as your job, I highly suggest you keep some of these in your bag. Now, this bag also has a laptop compartment, but this laptop compartment is so small you can't even fit a ThinkPad in here. However, it is great for keeping a notebook. I almost always keep a notebook in my bag so that I can write down any notes I have on shots while on set. I like to write down which shots are the best, which ones I think are going to be the winners, and which ones I don't really like while I'm shooting, so that it saves me a ton of time while editing. Now, I showed you guys this a little bit earlier, but I keep a Gorillapod with me wherever I go, simply because the Gorillapod is probably the most useful filmmaking tool ever invented. If you're a filmmaker or a photographer, you need to get yourself one of these. I'll be making a more in-depth video on this soon, so don't be too stressed out that I'm not explaining it too much right now. But that's all I've got for you guys today. This has been Echo Productions. I'm Silas Willoughby, and I'm trying to reach that 1,000 subscriber mark by the end of February. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe because I plan on making a ton more videos over the next few weeks so we can reach that mark. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.